Yes, how China reacts is always a consideration for many, not only those directly in the region, but also a little bit further away. I think one thing is that the countries in the region have learned to live with the Quad and come to terms that the revival of the Quad, this version of the Quad, is here to stay. It's not going to disappear as an ocean foam, as the Chinese diplomat has described it. I think countries in the region also have come to terms with the commitment of the Quad members to the Quad institution. So first of all, accepting the existence of the Quad, and second of all, I think it is whether they would confirm that publicly or not. It's a clear understanding that the Quad or other measures would be necessary in the wake of Chinese growing assertiveness, and if not aggression in some cases. I think a mechanism, or at least a willingness to enforce rules-based order, international law, and just stability, regional stability is needed, because without that, it might embolden Chinese aggressive claims in the region and Chinese ambition to dominate the region. So there is certain recognition of the purpose and the necessity of mechanisms such as Quad. And as long as Quad is contributing to the international rules-based order and stability in the region, I don't see the reason why anyone would oppose it.
Countries in the Indo-Pacific region have never really been at ease with China's rise. So this is not a new phenomenon of the unease. They have not, at the same time, wanted to choose sides between China and the United States. And it's been a permissive environment where they didn't have to for the past 30 years. The United States appeared to be the United States and China were engaged in a fairly cooperative arrangement to promote growth and economic prosperity across the region. There was a lot of looking past aggressive Chinese behaviors, whether in the South China Sea or otherwise, and trying to allied over there for the purposes of maintaining a stable and constructive relationship between the United States and China. So there was no incentive before, really, for countries in the region, and there was certainly no demand signal for them to choose between the United States and China. That has all changed, and I believe that there is now a very clear recognition, or there has become a very clear recognition within most of the United States foreign policy infrastructure that we do need to take a different approach to China, that the previous engagement approach was not yielding the results that we had hoped for. And as a result of that shift that has taken place in the last 4 years, it has put countries in a position where they are more or less being pushed toward making a choice. Many countries continue to resist that in the Asia-Pacific, in the Indo-Pacific region. They do not. Most countries would prefer not to have to make a choice between the United States and China. They live in the neighborhood with China. They do a lot of economic activity with China, and they don't want to be the focus of Chinese attention in a negative way, for sure. And they look at the United States kind of starting to move in this direction with a lot of trepidation. At the same time, I think that they also are very fearful and nervous about China. They want to keep the United States as that over the horizon guarantor of their security and their independence, but they don't know what that looks like anymore as the United States continues to change not only our approach to China, but enter what appears to be a period of increased isolationism that is that was reflected during the Trump administration, but also seems to be carrying forward in the Biden administration as well, but with a different kind of color to it. But it is still rooted in a isolationist impulse that is found within both major American political parties. So I think that when I talk to strategic planners in the region, they are very nervous about all of this. They know, especially for countries like Japan, South Korea, Australia, they know that ultimately if forced to choose, they must choose they want to be in condominium with the United States, and that we're um, that we're their natural ally. At the same time, because of questions about our staying power and our leadership, they do have serious concerns, and they're trying to figure out the way just like everybody else.